Come on, Jesus, what's wrong with a little bit of bread, huh? Thank you so much for joining us as we're continuing our verse-by-verse study. We're in Matthew chapter 4, verses 3 and 4 today. So, it says, "Now when the tempter came to him, he said, 'If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread.' But he, Jesus, answered and said, 'It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God.'" So let's step back. This section is so awesome. It starts with, "Now when the tempter came to him," came to Jesus. So the tempter came. The tempter is going to come in your life and in my life as well. He will come. He will bring temptation. In this case, Jesus is trying to be our example. So now when the tempter came to him, the tempter said, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." So he's calling into question that Jesus is deity, calling into question that Jesus is God. Whether it be, if you are the Son of God, show us, come on. Or it could be, some people translate it, "since you are the Son of God." But either way, he is calling into question Jesus' deity and the provision of the Father, the provision that God the Father loves the Son and wants to take care of him. So he says, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." Now this is awesome because he didn't say, "Command that you get a Lamborghini." He didn't even say, "Command that you get an awesome chariot to take you around." He said, "Command that these stones become bread." This was a basic provision. Satan was calling into question, the Father doesn't love you because he's not providing for you. He's not giving you what you needed. This sounds so much like the Garden of Eden. Satan is trying to use the same tactics on Jesus that he does on you and on me. He calls into question the Father's timing, the Father's provision. And Jesus is not saying it's wrong to accept miracles from God. It's not wrong to accept God to step in and do something awesome, even in providing food. He goes on to say, well, Jesus himself, he performed miracles. He performed miracles, many different types, but one of the types was providing food. Think of the fish and the bread, providing food for thousands of people. This was not uncommon to Jesus and to his public ministry. But he did not cause it to happen to himself. He waited on God to provide for himself in God's perfect timing, the Father's perfect timing. He goes on to say in verse 4, "But he answered and said," Jesus is talking here, he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." Now, Jesus could have here, he could have pulled out something new. He could have come up with something fancy and new. He could have used the power of his words and cast Satan to the furthest galaxy. But he didn't. He used something that you and I have the same ability and power. He pulled out the Word of God. And he quotes from Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3 here. Now, we're all going to be tempted. But let's take a look what was surrounding this experience with Jesus. It started with a long time of seeking God, getting into his word, separating himself from the world, from everything else, and just focusing on God for strength. And then when he was tempted, he turned to the word of God. He said the word back. He did answer Satan with the word of God. These are the same things given to you and to I for today. When you and I are tempted, first, we need to be preparing ourselves. Prepare for the battle. Get yourself in the Word on a daily basis. Study the Word, live the Word, pray it. Get into the Word. Let the Word get into you. And then, when you are tempted, run to the Word. Seek the Word, say the Word, speak the Word, use the Word. Don't rely on your own strength to get through temptation. Rely on Jesus. Don't rely on your own intellect and whatnot. Rely on the Word of God. I sure love you guys.